podcasters and those of you that are always surfing around looking for a place to listen. I want to encourage you to be here with us. My name is Tyler. I am your host of the Mind of Design podcast, and we have some major updates coming, so just stay tuned for what is to come. I promise you, you are going to see some incredible changes in our podcast, and we're going to be doing some major shifts, so just stay tuned. Connect with us here on the Mind of Design podcast. As always, we want to hear from you, so please send us an email if you are just desiring to connect with us in any capacity at feedback@themindofdesign.com. You can send an email there. You can reach us on our Facebook page as well. We're also on Podbean. So there's many different ways to connect with us, and we are revamping our social medias as we speak, so you'll be able to connect with us as well on YouTube. The YouTube channel there is The Tyler Bankston. It's our very own personal brand YouTube channel, so we're getting geared into some major things that are coming up, so just stay tuned for all of that. Looking forward to just all that is and all that will be. I'm telling you, there's something about taking action. Action is the key. Nothing else matters except taking massive amounts of action, because you can talk about your 2024 goals and aspirations all you want, but until you take action to them, they're just that. They're goals and they're aspirations. A goal without a common vision or a common focus or some type of direction is just a good idea. And plenty of people have ideas, but if they don't act on those ideas, they become memories. And in some cases, they become sort of tragedies. I mean, I have an example of this. I know for my personal life, my mother growing up, I mean, she had some pretty good ideas with just different inventions and things like that, and she would say from time to time, I invented that, in the 80s, and and she would always sort of come into the conversation and really just encourage you to do this and do that because she didn't do it. And so I took that to heart, and that's why we're here on this podcast in part. I mean, a lot of my motivation has come out of people not taking action on what they had dreams to do. It really inspired me to not just sit around and be a spectator, but to be a doer and take action. So that's my spiel here as we enter into another episode. This is episode 3 of season 2 of our podcast. For those of you that are not familiar, the month of January, we are just talking on some major things. We're having a great conversation surrounding the topic matter of this month. This is a 4-part session, and we're getting into, this is the 3rd episode, so the 3rd installment, and we're talking about the idea that you get what you pay for. Isn't that true in life? You get what you pay for. I mean, if you buy junk, you get junk. Isn't that true? I mean, it's simple as it is. It sounds so simple because it is so simple. I mean, you buy a cheap bag, you buy some pleather, then you're going to get pleather quality, and it's going to chip away. Just from simple oil in your hands, it'll start to melt like wax, and you start to see the bag fray. And I'm not making fun of you if that's where you're at right now, and that's what you have for finances, and that's what you can afford, then by all means. But if you have, and you're looking to go to the next chapter in your life, the next level, you're looking to level up, you're looking to really step into some greater things, you have to sort of up your game a little bit. And there's many ways, tools, and things you can access that won't cost you much to really look the part. And see, it's looking the part because perception for most people is reality for them. So how people perceive you is really how they think about you. Right or wrong in your mind, that's how they think. That's how the world thinks. The world does not care about your upbringing and what kind of pedigree you have. None of that matters in light of and in lieu of the idea that you are what you present to them. You are the presentation of everything that they are thinking about you. So how you dress, how you talk, all of that is of concern, and you need to be concerned with those details, because they matter. They really do. I mean, they are so crucial to you getting that spot in that. I don't know if you're looking to go on American Idol. I mean, if you're looking to do something that seems grandiose to you, you need to prepare for those things. You need to really think, act, be in that place of being all that you can be. Why? Because you have to think about it first before you get there. In most cases, people are not prepared because they have not even thought about it. How can you be a multimillionaire if you're thinking like a poor man? Doesn't make sense, does it? Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm poking fun at people. I'm not poking fun. I'm giving you examples. Because, see, life demands clarity. Life demands that we do a thing. And people are not interested in your pontification. They're interested in what you're doing with your time, with your resources, with what you have. Because it's not so much what you don't have. Too many people focus on what they don't have, and they never get anywhere. And so you've heard the statement said, it's better to have a bird in the hand than to have it fly by you. I mean, in other words, it's better to have something than nothing. It's better to go after something and hit something, or at least attempt to hit something, hit some kind of target, rather than just, well, this is the way it is. A lot of times I see this, and it frustrates me truly, because I see the potential in people, but potential that is unrealized just remains potential. Just like a good idea, it sort of gets away from you, and that can be dangerous sometimes. So as we step into this session of session 3, I really want to, episode 3, session 2, excuse me for that. You gotta love bloopers in the middle of just being in your podcast. If you're recording, whichever, it's like every time. This is life, though. Life is in the now. It's in the real moment. So I mean, I've never met anybody that just has their entire life scripted. I mean, there's going to be things that come up, but I just poke fun because it's good to poke fun sometimes at certain things that bloopers in your life will say, because we all have them. Let's be honest. They're just something that's there, and we need to embrace them. Otherwise, they'll become the tombstone for us, because we won't do much if we just be so conscious about every little detail of every little thing that we've ever done that wasn't the way we thought it should be. So there I say to you, we're talking about the balancing act. That's this episode, finding the sweet spot between cost and quality. And this is the interesting conversation here, because remember, we're talking about it costs something regardless. Remember, whether you spend a lot of money or you spend a little money, it's going to cost you. You're going to have to pay for the same bag 6 times if it's pleather, or you're going to have to buy it once, and you make that initial investment. That's why it's called an investment. It's not called, this is the dollar amount. You go into some stores, you go into some of these places, and they don't have price tags for a reason. Because these are not price tag type places. These are investment type places, and they understand that. The clientele that they're looking to reach is just different. Have you ever seen a commercial for Ferrari? Probably not. And you never have, and you never will. Why? Why am I saying that you never have and you never will? How can I be so blunt to say that? Because Ferrari is not looking for people that are looking for discounts, and people that are watching television are looking for discounts in most cases. Not all the cases, but in most cases, because rich people really don't watch TV. The only TV they really watch is 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. They're getting their news, they're getting their daily feed of what's going on in the world, both nationally, internationally, and different stocks, bonds, cryptocurrencies, etc., and that's it. I mean, they really don't need much more than that. They're not watching game shows. That's for people that don't have money. That's for people that have nothing else to do but to watch TV. But for people that are taking action, they're going after things and they're building something unusual. And so there I say to you, the balancing act of finding the sweet spot between cost and quality, what does it look like for you? I want to ask you that question. I want to really open this conversation up just really wide so that we can get into this conversation in depth and in detail. Because design is so simple. That's why it is so complicated, said Paul Rand. If you don't know Paul Rand, you ought to look him up and just check out his stuff. He has some really good books and just different things out in the marketplace that you can really grab hold of. The man is quite a genius, and his genius really lies in his simplicity of understanding. Hence his quote, "Design is so simple that's why it is so complicated." Today we're decoding the complexity. How do companies and designers balance the scales of cost and quality? So as we look at this, I want to consider some things with you. I have a few points just to sort of touch on here. And the importance is the first point, the importance of this balance in design. And the other one is brief examples from various industries. And so we can really look at some areas today and discuss this in depth, because there's so much going on, isn't there? I mean, we have so much happening in our world, yet most people are still at what do I do? Can you imagine? We're living in the 21st century, and we're 2024 now. We have all kinds of technology at our fingertips, basically for free. The only paid subscriptions you have are for the serious people that are really going after it. But you can get ChatGPT for free. I mean, there's ChatGPT 3.5. You can literally go on right now, openai.com. I mean, I'm not giving any, I'm not getting anything from recommending them, but I'm giving you these insights because it's so alarming to me to find people that are just like, what do I do next? Or what do I even do? I mean, they're so unmotivated and so conjumbled in life. It's like they can't figure things out. And why is it like that? Why are there people that are sharp with their time, sharp with their life? Everything they do is like clockwork. And then you got people that are just really, they're just kicking a rock around. And it's like, it's almost like they don't know what day it is in most cases. And you know people like this. And I'm not making fun of them, but I'm pointing this out because it's a real concern that we need to have. It's something, it's an epidemic in our world, that no matter how advanced we get, there's still people that it's like they're lost in, as I like to say, they're lost in the sauce. They're just caught up in things that they don't need to be caught up in. So we're going to talk about the importance of balance in design and just some examples of various industries. So there's something to be considered here as we dive into this. As we're joined together, I want to just to have this conversation that good design is thorough down to the last detail, but that doesn't mean it has to be expensive. It's thorough down to the detail, but does not mean that it has to be expensive. So this whole notion that it's got to be if it's designer, it's got to be costly. I mean, it's that whole idea in concept is, I mean, I don't even know where it came from, truly, because look at Ralph Lauren. I mean, you can't really, I mean, say his stuff is extremely expensive. It's quite affordable, and it's designer quality stuff. I mean, everybody knows Polo. Everybody knows Ralph Lauren. And what's inspiring about him is his story. If you've ever watched his story, I encourage you to go watch his documentary. There's a few of them out there, but there's one in particular that was recently put out probably a few years ago, and just discussing his entire life. And he never went to design school, yet he is known as a fashion designer of our modern age. And can you just imagine this? I mean, the man just had a passion for colors. He had a passion for finding details in certain things and really breaking up the norms. I mean, anything you look at Ralph Lauren, you look at blazers for men, for example, I mean, they're just different. He's got this corduroy effect with the patch on the elbows, and then he has sort of this pattern inside that has the polo emblem. I mean, it's just very unique. And then it's just, all of them have their own sort of spin to them, and yet they're not very expensive. So that's a perfect example of an industry. So their approach to balancing cost and quality, it really lies in where their market is. Cost, quality, look at Amazon. Amazon is producing at just massive scale. In fact, it's putting a lot of big businesses out of business in a lot of ways, in a lot of different venues. I don't know if you've ever heard about the conversation that the Amazon team in the beginning of them really ramping up when Bezos was really pushing everything. I wouldn't be doing you any justice by giving you a date, because I don't know the exact date, but you can go look it up. It was with the Toys R Us. I mean, everybody, at least if you're in the United States here, you know that Toys R Us was a sensation, especially in the 80s and 90s. I mean, I remember going to Toys R Us as a kid. I was a Toys R Us kid. You know the whole theme song, to be a Toys R Us kid. You know the commercial. I still remember it in my ear, and I remember all of my friends growing up. It was just you were just the coolest kid if you going there to get your whatever it was, the latest bike, the latest whatever it was, toy. I mean, there were so many things there. It was literally a store dedicated to children, but yet here it is. They went out of business. Why? Because they gave all rights. They signed over all rights. I want you to get this if you haven't heard the backstory to it. They gave all rights to their online market to Amazon. They signed it off. Amazon was looking to give a deal to them and said, hey, we want to obviously recognize that this is yours, and we just want to sell your products online, but obviously we have to come to you because you have ownership of that. So they signed over their rights, and where are they today? They're gone. They're off the map. Why? Because they missed one of the biggest shifts in modern day history. They missed one of the biggest opportunities. E-commerce was a laughing stock until it wasn't, and it boomed and it blasted the aftermath of everything. For a lot of people, I laugh, I chuckle, but I mean it's real. These were real conversations that people had. It was like, oh yeah, okay, e-commerce, yeah, right. And it just went out of business. And it was very interesting stuff, and a good friend of mine actually shared that with me and originally, and of course I went and did my digging and found the story about it, but I didn't realize that that's the reason they went out of business. But you need to really understand this and get it inside of you, because it doesn't have to be costly, but it does have to be down to the last detail. That's the key there. Strategies for maintaining design integrity on a budget. I mean, there's so many things we can get into, and I just want to give you the baseline of everything that we're going to discuss today. And we might need to do another part to this, like a part 2 of this, just like I mentioned in the first episode of Season 2, just last 2 weeks ago. I was alluding to this, the idea that we need to really look into this in more detail. I was sharing that in that episode, and I haven't forgotten. I've taken note of that, so we will revisit this in the future. This one, I'm not so sure. There's a lot more that I want to say and things I want to cover, but I might cover it in a interview, so that we can really come together and have a in-depth conversation with somebody that would be really interested to engage in this. So we'll see about that in the future, coming together in this. But I want you to see this from the perspective of your own life, because remember, it's not real until it's real. I mean, let's be honest. It's not real. What does that mean? It's not real until it's real. I mean that it's not yours until you possess it. Now that sounds very simple, but it's very difficult many times for people to conceptualize that idea, because you can say it out of your mouth, but actually doing it, it's a different story. And so there I say to you, until you really go after your dreams, until you really go after those things and do whatever it is that you want to do in the world, it's really not going to happen. It's not going to happen because you think and have a good idea that it should. So value in design isn't about paying more, it's about investing wisely. That's really what it's about. It's about investing. So there are corporate strategies for balancing cost and quality. There are also ways to balance effects that brand reputation and customer satisfaction have. So there's a lot that we can delve into, and like I said, I don't want to get into the weeds on this today, just because there's more to this than we can really touch on today. But I want to make sure that the conversation at least gets started in this area of what we're talking about, and that is the balancing act, finding the sweet spot between cost and quality. Super important. I think it's really undervalued in a lot of ways, the value that comes from understanding that you don't have to spend a lot to have quality. But the investment, it's the key word, investment, to whatever it is that you want in life. If you want to create a podcast, you better have good equipment. Learn to invest in certain aspects. And I know this sounds simple, but for some, it might not be. It might be groundbreaking, and that's great. If this is helping you, and this is really speaking to you in a deep way, fantastic. Please subscribe. Make sure that you give us a comment, give us a like, give us a share, and make sure that others know about the podcast here, because we're here to not just talk about things. We're here to specifically target design in many different facets, in many different ways, because design is more than just a concept. It's more than just a product. It is a lifestyle. It is a manifestation of people's greatest intentions, because it focuses specifically on the details. That's what I love so much about it. You cannot negate and get rid of the details in design. Without details, you don't have design. It's simple as it is. So that's why I love this conversation and this whole world, because one thing about me, and you'll learn in time, and I'll probably do a podcast a little bit about myself, my background, sort of where I'm coming from, and that introduction podcast, it'll be coming probably in the next few months. I haven't decided as yet. I really want to just set the groundwork and really hit the ground running with just building on the conversations here. But I'll share with you for sure, and I think it will benefit a lot of people knowing my background. But if you know me in any capacity, you know that by nature, I am very much a go-getter. I just go after it. I don't have to think too much on things. And it has its pros, it has its cons. It has more pros now than it does cons. But at one time it had a lot more cons. Why? Because I would just jump on things and just go for it. And I'd get results, but in some cases it was backlash and things that I'd have to dig back up and deal with and go after. Because when you don't read certain things and understand certain things, it can be dangerous. But over time, and that's why I said it's less and a lot more of the value that I bring now, because I understand I'm going to read the fine print, I'm going to get into the weeds, I'm going to understand all of the specifics and the nature of everything. Why? Because I understand that if I don't, it will come back and I will have to deal with it. So understanding that specific detail alone in my life has significantly taken me from where I am to where I'm going, and it's a much brighter future than anything I could have ever imagined. So I really do value the lessons I've learned in life. But again, this podcast is not about me, but although I'll have a session about myself and introducing myself, we're here to talk about the topic, and that is the mind of design, the mind behind design, what it is, what it looks like, and what it can be in your world. That's what we're here to really blow up and build upon. So in our sort of conclusion here, because again, I have a lot that I want to discuss with you, but there is just not enough time for this session, but I will, for this episode. I keep saying session. For this episode. We don't have enough time, but I'm looking forward to being with you. I'm looking forward to building with you, and I'm looking forward to strategically partnering with some of you that might be listening that have podcasts and other ventures that you're involved with. Please connect with us, connect with me, and let's have a conversation that will help our world be a better place for everyone. That's what I'm really after, is making the world a great place. Because without having the world being a great place, we have chaos. And what does that do for anybody? It doesn't do much, does it? So as we conclude here, we're probably going to do a sort of second part to this. I'm not fully convinced yet, but we'll see. And so just want to really put that out there into the universe, as it's said. I like that. It's so funny. Put it out into the universe. Sounds very sci-fi. Put it out into the universe. Sorry, I had a moment. But today's discussions we've shed a little bit of light on the delicate art of balancing cost and quality. And as we delve into next week, we're going to get into something as we sort of wrap up this sort of 4-part series here. And next week we're going to be looking at unraveling something exciting, emerging design trends that seamlessly marry quality with cost effectiveness. It's a revelation you won't want to miss, I promise you. It's going to be a great time. So tune in to our next week broadcast for sure. Make sure that you connect with us and make sure that you are notified. So we want to make this great for you, and anything we can do to improve. That's why I keep emphasizing, make sure, connect. Because the more you connect, the more we can really optimize and strategize and make it even better for you. And if you have any things that you'd like to hear about in design, please share with me. This isn't a one-way conversation here. I'm not just talking to you. This isn't audible. This is the Mind of Design podcast, and I am Tyler, and I'm here to connect with you. So I just want to make sure that you understand there is a human element to this, and that human element is to engage. So make sure you engage with us, and make sure you continue to be with us on the different social media platforms I had mentioned earlier, which is the Facebook page that we have. We're also on Podbean. We're on, we're on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify, and we're just getting on Google and a few others. We're still working on the details with getting on that, so we'll be on those platforms very soon. Soon, all of them. I want to be on every platform I can be on so that the conversation can spread wide and we can help a lot of people. And so I'm really looking forward to just the different ventures that we're going to be getting into with really just our entrepreneurial arm, but also our philanthropic arm, which is going to be focused really on the nonprofit sector and how we can help people in different countries, especially people that are looking to make a better life for themselves and just need that hand. We want to give back in a big way. So we'll be connecting with some strategic partners that you're going to know a lot of these names because they're famous. So just stay tuned for some of those things. I just want to really engage and get you geared into focus, because what we are coming up on is something. It's nothing short of incredible, and I say that sort of biasly, but not so much bias, more so confidence, because I know not so much what the conversation holds, but I understand the value that we're bringing, and the mission that we have is not about us, it's about our world, it's about you. Because at the end of everything, it's not so much what I get, it's about what do you get. Because when you get something, I benefit all the more. Why? You say, how do you benefit all the more? Well, I benefit because I am able to access just everything that you are. I get to be able to understand, because when you have a revelation on something and you have some sort of really breakthrough in your mind, in your life, in your day-to-day workflow, if you're an entrepreneur, you're looking to start that business, I mean, that all happens as a result of this. I'm excited for you. I want to connect with you. I mean, I want to have a conversation with you. That helps me, and it does more for me than money ever could, really. Because monetary is great. We need money. I like money, trust me. If you want to send me money, send me money. I can do a lot with it. But at the end of the day, money's just a transactional piece. The relational piece only comes from our human experience, our human just operation in the mix of everything. So I hope that this has helped you. Again, we're going to continue the conversation next week in the conclusion of this entire month, the entire series that we've had here, and really looking at the cost of design and all of those details. So stay tuned for that, and make sure that you share, like, and subscribe as much as possible and with as many people as possible. So until next time, stay curious and stay inspired. Thank you again. We'll see you soon.